from Daytimes on Vision, and this is day 12 of the 25 days of Christmas. O little town of Bethlehem, Micah 5:2. I once read an article in a travel magazine that listed the best places in the world to see amazing architecture, taste exquisite food, and enjoy the arts and culture. The top of the list was filled with great cities like New York, Paris, Tokyo, and Sydney. And I can say from personal experience that yes, these cities are amazing places. But if I were making a list of the greatest cities in the world, I'd include one that most travel writers would laugh at, a little town in Israel called Bethlehem. An ancient prophet named Micah first proclaimed that there was something special about this sleepy little town just outside Jerusalem. It was known as the City of David because that's where he was born and was later anointed king over Israel. By the time Jesus was born, however, this was an ancient history, and Israel had been under the rule of others for too long for anyone to care much about the birthplace of their long ago king. But Micah put Bethlehem back on the map with this prophecy. But you, O Bethlehem Ephrathah, you who are too little to be among the clans of Judah, from you shall come forth from me one who is to be ruler in Israel, whose coming forth is from of old, from ancient days. And that's in Micah 5:2. This prophecy is one of the clearest, most direct prophecies of the Messiah in the entire Bible. And it was made more than 700 years before Jesus was born. Now, to put this in perspective, imagine someone asserting in the year 982, that's 750 years before George Washington was born, from Mount Vernon, Virginia will come the first president of the United States. Now, God used Micah to put on record that one who would be born in Bethlehem would not only rule over Israel, but would be God in the flesh, whose coming forth is from of old, from ancient days. Now, the Hebrew word for ancient days literally means days of eternity. In other words, the Messiah was going to come from eternity to a specific spot on earth, fully human, with a birthplace just like everybody else. And Micah's words exist as proof for us that God keeps his promises, that the birth in Bethlehem wasn't an accident or a last-minute decision, but it was in God's plan for centuries. Now, Micah tells us specifically that Jesus would come from Bethlehem Ephrathah. In Micah's time, the city actually had two names, Bethlehem, which is made up of two Hebrew words, Beit and Lechem, which means house of bread, and Ephrathah, that means fields of fruit, referring to the vineyards. Now, the fact that Micah used both names, it's not a coincidence. God knew the associations that we would make between bread and wine and Christ's body and blood, and he made sure that even the name of the city the Saviour would come from would point people toward his plan for salvation. Bethlehem may have been just a little town, but in the first Christmas, Bethlehem may have been just a little town, but at the first Christmas, God used it in some pretty big ways as the birthplace of the King and a signpost for salvation.